Labadiena, sveikinuosi su jumis iš Kūrybos laboratorijos, kur mes aiškinamės, kas dedasi įdomių, daug patyrusių ir daug pasiekusių kūrėjų galvose. Ir šiandien pas mus svečiuose yra Yiorgis Sakellariou, eksperimentinės ir elektroakustinės muzikos kompozitorius iš Graikijos. Yiorgis ne tik leidžia albumus kaip kompozitorius, bet ir rašo muziką filmams, spektakliams, taip pat pats koncertuoja daug įvairiose pasaulio šalyse ir skaito paskaitas bei veda meistriškumo pamokas. O šiandien mes paklausime, kągi jisai kuria ir apskritai veikia čia, Lietuvoje. So hello, Yiorgis.
Hello.
Welcome to the Creativity Lab.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
You are a composer of experimental and electroacoustic music. Can you please explain to me what that is? What kind of music do you write?
I am composing with sounds, which essentially means that I am importing sounds in my computer and I use them as material for my compositions. Imagine the way the sculptor works with his or her material and shapes it and makes a form and then completes the work. It's some similar thing that happens, of course, in the virtual space of computer software. But again, I'm shaping the sounds, I am juxtaposing them, I'm editing them, and then I'm sequencing them to create a narrative that will become, in the end, the whole composition. The source of these sounds could be anything from a passing train to a human voice, to the sounds of ants, to even of course, a musical instrument which we can really transform its identity and texture with the use of digital technology.
Oh, that sounds. I like the sound of ants in particular. Later this afternoon, you will be given a talk on the art of field recordings here at the Faculty of Creative Industries of Vilnius Gediminas Technical University. Can you give us a gist of the main points of your talk? How can one use field recordings for their creative project?
The art of field recording extends to sound art and media art, and a lot of interdisciplinary projects start to use sound more and more in the artistic outcomes, because sound is a powerful medium that can resonate and transmit a lot of messages, emotions, thoughts, and in general create very intense experiences to audiences or whoever it is that engages with the work. And I think it is important to underline the fact that field recording is not only applied in arts, but it is also a tool in scientific research. In the beginning, actually, of sound recording, it was mostly used by anthropologists and ethnomusicologists as they were documenting oral history, interviews, music performances, political and social events, and so on. And these recordings are catalogued, archived, and they're becoming part of the data of any sort of project that examines any subject that can relate to sound. And I think most subjects can have a sort of relation to sound.
Well, that's a very interesting thought, because we're so used to rely on our vision.
Our society is basically too much influenced by the visual aspects, and sound has been neglected as a way of engaging with the world. However, I do feel that recently this ratio has been challenged. You can see it, for instance, in the academia. There is the involvement of disciplines like sound studies. You get the acoustic ecology, people who believe that we can understand the world we live in by engaging with it sonically. You even get sonic journalism. It is this idea that you need to add field recordings into an event that will give access to knowledge and an impression about the events that somebody's reporting on in a completely different way, and arguably deeper and more informative in many levels.
So are you saying that sound can change my perception of an image?
Absolutely. Sound can shift the perception of the whole way of understanding, of viewing the world, and most importantly of experiencing the world. The first sense that we develop while we're still in the womb, before we're even born, is hearing. This is the first way of understanding the world outside ourselves. And that's why it's quite difficult to talk about sound, to scrutinize and analyze sound, because it goes deep into the subconscious level. So when it comes time to re-engage with this profound feeling of connecting with the world and understanding what's happening inside and outside ourselves, and sound is the medium to do that.
Well, that's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to your talk. You obviously had a very busy and rich and interesting career, an international career. You're from Athens.
Greece.
And Greece. And then you did your PhD in the UK. Now you're here in Lithuania. I know you tour all over Europe. I'm sure in our audience there are young people who would like to have a career like yours. Do you have any tips for them?
I think an advice would be, don't listen to any advice. and in this spirit, I would say basically one thing: always be doubtful. Not insecure, doubtful about your work.
What's the difference?
Insecurity is when you think you're not good enough, you're not worth it. Doubtful is always be aware that you can do better. Challenge yourself. Don't take things for granted. Don't rely on some sort of repetition or some sort of pattern that it feels like it's the best thing to do, or it has worked once and you kind of like find yourself in this comfort zone. So just to extend this answer a little bit, the advice would be stay away from the comfort zones. Be in a place where you're like swimming on a lake, in a lake, and your feet barely touch the bottom, but not really, and you're not sure. And this ambiguous state is a condition where the most creative thoughts and the most creative practices can come out of.
Oh, excellent. Loving the metaphor. But how do you put your work out there? Is there any proven way to get heard? Because there's so much stuff now out there, right?
Yeah, it is a noise of information. We're in this information age where to stand out is quite difficult, especially when it comes to music. I would say the best thing is to engage with communities, to open up to whatever communities. There might be online communities, there might be the local communities. In my mother's tongue, the word for creation is consisted of two words: demos, which means public, and ergon, which means work. So any creation is public by definition. So if it is engaged by other people, then immediately it can find its path and its proper, let's say, position, and make the equivalent impact in public memory, which is, I think, what every artist aims at.
In Lithuania especially, there's this popular, opinion that the work of art should speak for itself. So the artist doesn't have to do anything else, like talk to the communities or engage with their audiences, or no extra comment is necessary. What do you think about that?
That's a huge discussion. We live in, we can call it this postmodern world, where together with the artwork, you're almost obliged to have some sort of discourse backing it up and some sort of new language. I'm not saying I really approve that, but that's how it goes. So people who start should have that in mind. You cannot just say that's my music and whether you like it or not, because music today has to come with some sort of almost political background and support, or ideologically and almost ontologically of what it is. It didn't used to be like that, but it is now.
Well, thank you very much for coming to share your experiences and insights. And I'm really looking forward to your talk. O jums mes irgi dėkojame, kad užėjote šiandien į mūsų kūrybos laboratoriją. Tikimės, kad sužinojot kažką tai įdomaus arba naudingo savo. O mes skubame jums ruošti kitų susitikimų su įdomiais, daug patyrusiais ir daug pasiekusiais kūrėjais. Iki.